Okay, good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, day one of the next 3 months. So I just woke up like 5 minutes ago. It's that, and I'm out in the garage getting ready to do cardio. I'm trying to do this for 30 minutes. 20 will be acceptable, 20 to 30 minutes a morning. So I'm gonna try to do. And we'll see what the time is when I get done, because I don't know what my legs can handle right now for endurance. So I'm gonna take it easy the first couple of days, try to build into it maybe. Let's see how it goes. All right, well, let me get this cardio in and then I get my breakfast going. Okay, we're back in the house now. I just got done doing 20 minutes of cardio on the Stairmaster. I would have liked to have done 30, but to be honest, my legs got a little jello-y. It's been a long time since I've done cardio, at least that long. I've done cardio a little bit here and there, but nothing at the extent of what I did this morning on the Stairmaster. So I'm gonna build into it. I'm gonna start off doing 20 minutes a morning, 20 minutes a evening, then build into it from there. Try to add maybe like 1 minute a day or 1 minute every other day to what I'm doing. And now my breakfast is gonna be, this is a cup and a half of egg whites. And then I'm gonna be doing oatmeal as well. This half cup of bland oatmeal. There's no seasoning or no flavor in anything that I'm doing. No salt, no pepper, no spices, nothing. Just straight bland ingredients. Why? I don't know. I just felt like doing it this way. I'm gonna try to get this all down. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, but I'm gonna try to get it all down. I got sick a couple weeks ago, and I don't know, ever since then I haven't really been able to eat like I was. So eating has been real difficult for me. Not eating is a huge part of it. I mean, you got to get your food down if you want your results, but it's also one of those things, like, I'm going to try to get down as much as I can, but I'm not going to like eat to the point where I feel like I'm throwing up like I used to whenever I was younger. If I feel like I can't get it down and I just can't get it down, I'll just try again the next day. I'm going to try my best, but I'll eat until I'm miserable, and I'm suffering, but I'm not going to eat to the point where I'm gagging and throwing up like I used to do back in the day. That was a younger me that could do that, not so much anymore. And then I have 3 meals throughout the day that I'm going to do before my workout, which is going to be basically boiled chicken with brown rice that was coated with olive oil and cooked, and then green beans. That's what I'm going to do 3 times throughout the days. 8 ounces of rice, measured cooked, 8 ounces of chicken, and then like half a cup of green beans. Very simple diet, very basic, very bland, very boring, very miserable diet. You know, it's funny because I was dreaming of it last night. I kept dreaming I was eating like bland egg whites. I was eating like brown rice and oatmeal and everything. I kept dreaming of that last night. I kept waking up like, ugh. So my body is like rejecting the idea of it before I even get started on it, reminding me like, dude, this diet sucks. But we're gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can, as long as I can. Hopefully I can go the whole 30 days. I'm gonna turn this right here into more like a side of a brick house instead of a clay pot. Or should I say clay being ready to be molded into a pot. Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be rough, but I'm gonna try to take no days off from my diet, no cheat meals, nothing. No cheat days, no cheat meals. I'm not gonna plan a cheat meal. I'm not gonna schedule a meal to be able to break my diet or nothing like that. I'm gonna diet 24/7 around the clock. I don't have my supplements yet. I am gonna be taking creatine, arginine, beta-alanine, glutamine and stuff, but they haven't came in. So I'm waiting for those to come in. So whenever they get here, I'm gonna start taking those too. Probably the hardest part about this isn't doing cardio and eating. I think the hardest part for me is waking up and eating and doing cardio right out of bed. Like waking up first thing in the morning, right in the morning, without even being awake for 5 minutes and jumping on the Stairmaster is pretty tough. And then also eating right when I wake up is tough because I am not a breakfast person. I like breakfast food, but I do not like eating breakfast. I don't have an appetite in the morning. I don't have an appetite right when I wake up. I never have. And eating right first thing in the morning when I wake up has always been tough. It's always been tough. It's always been difficult for me. It's never been something that I've enjoyed doing. But if I could wake up on my own and then give it like 2-3 hours and then eat, oh man, I'm great. And then like when I did intermittent fasting, I tried the whole noon to 8 p.m. thing when I was intermittent fasting once. And honestly, like it was easy for me because I don't eat in the mornings anyway. So waiting till noon to eat was nothing. It was just like, yeah, okay, cool. That's just what I normally do. Then stopping at 8 p.m. was easy too because I normally eat dinner around 8. And honestly, even restricting my calories, I never saw a difference in my body composition or weight loss. But whenever I would diet from 9 to 5, now that was a different story. Dieting 9 to 5, I would lose weight like crazy. I don't know why that is. I could eat the same amount of calories and the same food, and I could eat from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and stop eating at 5 p.m. Weight will fall off of me. But if I ate from noon to 8, nothing would happen. It's like meal timing, I guess. I don't know. That's crazy. I guess it's just the way your body's made up. But all right, let me get this food down. I'll see you guys at 9 o'clock for my next meal. From now to then, it's just basically gonna be me going to work and working. So it's not very fun to watch, but I'll show you all my actual meals when I'm eating, and then we'll get to the gym later and work out. 9 o'clock, so it's time to eat my second meal of the day. I'm gonna heat it up. I'll show you all what we got here. We got some brown rice, some boiled chicken, and green beans, French style green beans. And the way I cook my brown rice, I don't know if anyone's ever done this or tried it, but brown rice is pretty awful. Just in general, it's awful. I don't enjoy it. But what I do is I measure up my brown rice and I take olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and I pour it on there, then I mix it up, and then I add water to the rice, and then I cook it. And then whenever it gets done, it actually fluffs up. Like it gets into the shell and cracks the shell or something like that of the brown rice, and it just makes it really light and fluffy. Then it adds a lot of flavor to the rice because of the olive oil, so it makes it really good. That's just the way I do it. I'm gonna eat this and I'm gonna go on a 10-minute walk and then get back to work. I had a pretty fun weekend with my wife. Kind of overate, overdrank. It was our anniversary on the 1st, so we really enjoyed ourselves this weekend. And this morning I weighed in at 235 pounds, so my weight skyrocketed over the weekend, but that's okay because I'm back on it now and the suffering has begun. So I was very tired this morning whenever I woke up, but I still got up and got that 20 minutes of cardio in, got all my food down. It was real hard eating breakfast this morning because I'm not a big breakfast eater, like I said earlier, but I did it. I needed to be done. This meal was easier to eat. It was pretty bland, but it tasted flavorful enough without having any seasoning or salt on it. Boiled chicken's pretty tough to eat, pretty dry, but it's all right. I'll suffer through it and I'll get it down. That's the whole point of this. Like, I'm not wanting it to be crazy enjoyable, because if it tastes too good, you're gonna overeat, and it's easy to overeat when the food tastes too good. So if it's super bland and you're getting what you need out of it nutritionally wise for your results and your goals, you're not gonna overeat. It's gonna be very difficult to overeat doing it like that. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing and everything else. But it's only 9 o'clock. It's still early in the day. It's still early in the challenge, I guess. Not really a challenge. It's just a goal of mine that I'm going to push through. So the goal is to get abs, 4-pack, 6-pack, doesn't matter. I just want my abs. So training 5 days a week
doing cardio twice a day. I don't know if I'm gonna do cardio on the weekends or not, but I know Monday through Friday for sure I'm doing cardio. I don't know if I'm gonna do them on the weekends or not, but we'll see how that goes. And then diet's never gonna stop, 7 days a week without any breaks in that. And then I'm gonna do two 10-minute walks a day, like I'm doing right now after I get done eating at 9 and at noon, just so I can help my food digest a little bit. I know I stand and I move and I walk around all day at work, but there's just something about going for a walk immediately after eating that just kind of helps the stomach kind of settle and feel better. Another thing too, man, every time I go on a diet, I always get really bad heartburn for the first like 3-4 days. And then after that, heartburn goes completely away. It's so weird. I don't know why that happens, but it does. I guess just a transition of food or whatever, the bloat in the stomach and everything else. And I know brown rice causes bloating because it's high in fiber. Same thing for oatmeal. But after about 2 weeks, my body adapts to that and it gets used to it. Then it kind of stops. And then my stomach will flatten back out. So I know these next 2 weeks, I'm going to be bloated more than usual. And I'm going to feel distended more than usual. But after about 2 weeks, all that should kind of level out and stop. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this 10-minute walk. My arm's getting tired holding up the phone. And then continue with my day. So far, so good. All right, we have meal number 3 kicking off here. I'm gonna show y'all again my delicious meal of boiled chicken, brown rice, and green beans. All bland, absolutely no seasoning, no flavor, no nothing of the sort. Just the ingredients of which they are. And the reason why this is so miserable is the chicken is boiled, so any chances of any remnants of fat or flavor being on there is long gone. Long gone. So all I have is some dried boiled chicken breast, and it is incredibly dry. The flavor is 10 out of 10 for chicken, but the moistness and everything else is it's a 1. It's a 1 out of 10. I try to mix it with the dry brown rice, which the olive oil on the rice isn't so bad. It does give it some good flavor, and it does keep the rice moist because normally brown rice is really dry and gritty. It's pretty gross, but like I said, I noticed with the oil, it makes it way more enjoyable. Now, as far as it goes for the green beans are green beans, no matter how you cut it. But this chicken, man, I almost find it's easier to eat the chicken first and swallow it down the water, which I don't like drinking water when I eat because it dilutes the stomach acid. But in extreme situations require extreme measures. And eating very dry boiled chicken is, I think, one of those extreme measures which requires me to have to swallow some water with this chicken breast. So let me get this terrible meal down. And this is meal number 3 of the day, which is my second chicken and rice meal. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that meal is actually not bad. I guess because all the oil on the rice, and the reason why I'm putting oil on the rice is I'm not getting any fats in my diet. I'm doing egg whites, chicken breast, and protein powder. That's the main source of protein, and then brown rice. So I figured let me go ahead and put some olive oil in there to get some fats in my diet. And I know I could just eat fattier cuts of meat like red meat or chicken thighs and chicken quarters and stuff like that, but this way I can control the amount. And I can control how I'm getting it and what I'm getting it from, which I could do it the other way. So I guess that doesn't really, it's not really a valid argument, but this is what I did when I was in my early 20s. And I think I looked really good in my early 20s. So I'm going to try to copy and paste it for the way I'm training and working out. And so far, so good. And I'm taking this meal by meal. I know it's only day 1, but I'm not worried about the next meal. I'm going to take this meal by meal, not day by day, but meal by meal. So here in the next 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks, I know it's going to get real brutal and it's going to be just pure agony when it comes to what I'm eating. But hopefully by then I'm so used to it that it's just like motor pattern, not really thinking about it, just doing it. So, but it's all fun whenever it's a challenge and it's something that you can look forward to getting results from. So I'm going to finish up this walk. I don't know if I'm going to post anything on my next meal at 3 o'clock, but I will definitely get some gym footage in there. Okay, so at 3 o'clock, I got my 4th meal in, which was my last chicken and rice meal. It's actually not as terrible as I remember it being. Last time I did brown rice, I just ate it plain cooked in water without adding the oil to it, which made it miserable. So doing the chicken boiled with the brown rice, pretty much drenched in oil, is actually really enjoyable. It's not too bad. So I got that in. Tonight is hamstrings, so I'm going to be working my hamstrings tonight. I don't remember if I said it earlier in the day or not, but I am going to be taking supplements. I'm just waiting for them to come in because they haven't got here yet. And I'm not going to really be taking the recommended doses. I'm actually going to be taking more than what's recommended. So like creatine, I'll probably be taking 15 to 20 grams a day. I don't know. And then same thing for arginine. I'll probably be taking 15 to 20 a day. I don't know if I'll continue to take that much per day or if I'm going to slowly back off. But we'll just see how I feel and what I get out of it. I don't know if I'll load for like a week and then come down, but we'll see. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So tonight, like I said, I don't actually remember if I said it or not, but it's hamstring night. So I'm going to start off with deadlifts and move to Romanian deadlifts. And then I'm going to do back extensions. I do have a pretty structured routine, what I do for this, because it's kind of like a powerlifting routine that I'm doing, but I'm using lighter weights and lower percentages to kind of help like build hypertrophy instead of strength. But if the strength builds, I'm not going to be upset about that. The goal is always to get stronger. It's always to get better. And it's always to do more, regardless of what you're training for or how you're training, or at least to maintain your strength. And in order to maintain your strength, you still have to push yourself to become better or stay the same. Because if you start slacking off, you're going to start like going backwards and digressing and actually losing results. So tonight I'm working up to 315 for 5 in the deadlifts. I got a slight kink in my neck. I've had it for a couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't know if deadlifts is agitating it or not, or if it's something else I'm doing, but I'm going to kind of pay attention to it and how it feels, if it gets better or worse. And if I think something's kind of triggering it, I might actually move that out of my routine just because I don't want to deal with it, because it's really uncomfortable looking to the right. It's really hard trying to change lanes when I'm driving. But let me get this workout going and get this done. To me, I think probably the worst part about starting a diet, like I said earlier, is the heartburn. I don't know why, but every single time I start a diet, the first 3 to 4 days, I just get the worst heartburn. It's just brutal. Not about the 4th day, it kind of just goes away and never bothers me again. It's extremely inconvenient, but it's part of it. I know it's what my body does. I've been doing it for a long time. But hopefully this time I can stick to this the whole 3 months. You know, this is the suffering series for the next 3 months. Training hard, 5 days a week, doing cardio, eating the most bland, basic food you can eat. I'm trying to get the most results I can in the shortest amount of time. Like, I'm in a rush. And it's like, oh, don't be in a rush. You know, try to take your time. It's a process. It's a journey. It's a rush. I'm rushing. I'm 37. I'm not getting no younger. So it's like, it's now or never. All right, the time is now. All right, this is my top set, 315 for 5. This is my 8th set of deadlifts. So see how I do on this. My calories are significantly reduced compared to what they've been the last couple of weeks. So I don't expect this to be super easy. This is the 3rd week I'm actually pulling this weight. So this is the 3rd week that I'm pulling 315 for 5. Next week I go up in weight. So if my strength continues to progress forward, because being with a deficit and doing cardio, my strength is going to kind of start stagnant and then possibly even regressing back. But it's only for a limited amount of time. Like, it's a give and take. You have to sacrifice on one area or the other to get what you're going for. It's all about sending signals. wasn't too bad. A little slower than I thought it was going to be, but come to expect it. Whew, I am not nearly as strong as I used to be. 315, it wasn't bad. I mean, it felt good, but it's definitely a lot heavier than it used to be. I used to go to do 315 for 25. Hell, I used to go do 405 for sets of 20, 25. Double overhand grip with no straps, but that was an older, fatter, younger me. Now this is my top set of Romanian deadlifts right here, 185 for 12. I do 5 sets of 12, pyramiding up. And this week I'm doing 185. I hit all 12 this week. Next week I'll go up and weight. Every week I try to get at least 1 more rep or 5 more pounds. Regardless of if I go up and weight, I don't care how many reps I get, as long as I get at least 2 to 3 reps. And then I'll build all the way up to 12 reps from there. And then if I can't go up and weight, then I want at least 1 more rep from what I got last week. I always do Romanians after deadlifts. This is the top portion of the movement. This really gets the hamstrings amazing. There's a lot of carryover to it as well, but if you want a nice, thick, juicy bum, thick hamstrings that pop, don't skip on Romanians. I had to use these straps because my grip and fatigue in my last set. I got all 12 to 175, but I just don't think it's going to handle 185 for 12 because like how small your forearm is to how big your back is. It's just your hamstrings, glutes, and back can handle a lot more load versus your forearm. It's a small muscle in comparison to everything else. So only use straps when you absolutely have to. You don't need to use them, don't put them on. If you want to build your grip strength up, that is, I guess. If you don't care about your grip, then strap up, but you're not going to have big forearms if you always wear them, unless you train forearms correctly, which I do not. This is my last hamstring movement for the night. I do 5 sets of these. This is my 5th set. Actually, I've already done the other 4. And the way that I do these is in the beginning of a program, I'll start off with like all 5 sets of 10 reps. And the next week I try to get 11 for all. And then 12 and 13 to 14. Every week I try to add at least 1 more rep to every single set. And tonight it's 21 reps is what I'm at right now. Once I hit 30 reps, what I'll do is instead of just going through the motion, I'll pause at the top, hold, and slowly come down, explode up, pause at the top, slowly come back down, and I'll build that starting over at sets of 10 to 12, and then I'll build that back up to 5 sets of 30, doing it that way. But first I try to build the muscles and endurance up just by getting through the motion, and then once I get to the motion for 5 sets of 30, then I'll start adding a technique that makes it a lot more difficult, like the static hold or the slow negative, which greatly increases the amount of load and tension on the hamstring. But right now, I'm just trying to get the volume in because I already got a lot of intensity from the other 2 movements. So this right here is just more for volume, and just try to pump as much blood in there as I can. And if you notice, I don't do some big, exaggerated hyperextension. I don't do that. It's nonsense. It's not needed. When you're doing these, you want your back to be flat. You want to be, postured here. You don't need to do this stuff right here. All you're going to do is tweak your back. Well, that's not necessary. As you get more reps, you can hold at the top, go slow at the bottom, and that'll give you a lot more than trying to hyperextend in a ridiculous amount. Because even if you're using these for volume, hypertrophy, or to carry over your deadlift, you're never going to deadlift and lock out like this. It's just not necessary. But hey, do what you want. All right, now I got to do cardio. So far, it's been a good Monday. Got all my food in up to this point.
I'm about to do 20 minutes in the Stairmaster. When I get done with this, I'm gonna go in and have a protein shake with 3 scoops of whey. And then I'm gonna take a shower and just kind of relax the rest of the evening. And then come 9 o'clock, I'm gonna do a cup and a half of eggs with mushrooms and sliced tomatoes. And that's gonna be my last meal of the day. I'm gonna cut the video pretty much here because I don't think anyone really cares to watch me do cardio, and then the rest of it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna try to put out another video tomorrow, try to make sure that you guys know that I'm staying on track and I'm keeping up with it and I'm not detouring from the course of action, which is suffering, being extreme, doing everything you could possibly do and controlling all the variables that you can control to have the best absolute outcome that you could possibly get at the end of the day. So that's what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow.